new one in cinemas this Tuesday. For your viewing pleasure right now, it's The Light Between Oceans. What's it all about, Ryan Monty?
Indeed it is, yes. Well, it's Light Between Oceans.
It is. Good one.
Yeah. Directed by Derek's... Here's another name.
I think it's
Cianfrance.
Cianfrance. Derek, get in touch and tell us how you want it pronounced.
Yeah, the man who made Place Beyond the Pines, which I really like, and Blue Valentine, which I also really like.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, they're both really good. And in The Light Between Oceans, basically, Michael Fassbender plays a World War I veteran called Tom. He wants to get away from sort of all of the war horrors, and he goes to maintain a lighthouse just off the shore of Australia. He ends up falling in love with Alicia Vikander's Isabel, and however she can't have a child, they have 2 miscarriages, and they end up they find finding a baby which is washed up on shore, and they raise that baby even though they don't really want. I mean, they're not really allowed to. Because it's someone else's child, and indeed when they go back to the mainland a couple of years later, they run into the baby's biological mother, played by Rachel Weisz. And in this clip, this is basically just after the baby is washed up, and Alicia Vikander is desperately trying to convince Michael Fassbender's character to let them keep the baby.
Can we leave it a while? Give her a chance to catch her breath.
It's all got to go on the log, sweetheart. You know, I have to report everything straight away. What if the boat belongs to a ship?
It's a dinghy, not a lifeboat.
Yes. First thing in the morning, then. As soon as the light's out.
Baby's gurgling. It's a horrible noise, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry you had to hear that, but it is an important part
Some
of the
people think
film.
that's adorable, don't they? It's like...
No, stop. Right, continue, sorry.
Yeah.
Sidetracked by horrible children.
Yeah, so, that's it's basically... you can sort of tell from the setup that this is a very, very melodramatic film.
Yes.
And it's a very slow film, but, you know, it's just... It feels like a fable, really, in reality, because it's sort of that sort of classic, like melodrama, like a story you'd expect, and it is adapted from a novel.
Yes.
And you can totally imagine that this has come straight from that, and straight from content which has been on a shelf in W.H. Smith's, you know, because
a proper page turner.
Yeah, proper page turner that gets you hooked and involved. And you know, I was for the first sort of like 25 minutes or half an hour, I was like, yeah, you know what, this is really selling me, because Michael Fassbender as a presence, and there's very little that we haven't already said about him as an actor. He knows how to get his roles down, and in this one you can totally see that sort of shied away war veteran who just wants a bit of peace in his life. And when his initial sort of romantic dealings with Isabella really, really touching, you can tell that they've got natural chemistry, because of course they're in love in real life.
It's a funny thing though, like they're supposedly a couple, but they are very cagey in public. I guess.
Yeah,
I
was just talking about this when we're
awkward kind of couple. Obviously, the kiss cam at the Oscars, they didn't kiss.
To be fair, that's a big thing to be put on the pedestal of, you know, like a big amount of people that you will be working with in future years.
But I read that the director, Derek, I'm not going to try and do his name, Derek,
Derek
made them live with each other for 6 weeks. I guess they don't even live together. That's strange. Like, to get that sort of love and chemistry that you see on the screen, they had to spend 6 weeks in the same house. That was under the director's orders.
Some couples work better living alone, I guess.
Maybe, but it just seems odd.
Maybe they haven't reached that stage yet.
Maybe not.
But you can tell they have natural chemistry in this, and it helps sell the story to you a lot more, because I was getting really involved with it. I think it's shot really well. They use that isolation of the lighthouse expertly, and some of the shots, the opening shots of the sunset and the landscapes, absolutely terrific. And I think that there is a real sense of patience and poise that Derek Cianfrance gets, and I think it helps you get into the story quite a lot. But as the story went on, I just wasn't as enthused about it as much, because I think that the story tries to get you so much out of the ringer every single story beat, you know. And I get that it's meant to be melodramatic, I get the story's meant to tug at the heartstrings, but it tries to do it every single beat, and there's no sort of like build up for emotions as the story goes on, because there's such a big release at every story beat, like I was saying, and like it doesn't give you time to build up that pent up emotion within you. It's to sort of to feel what the characters are feeling, because it's sort of, when's the next miserable thing gonna happen? And I don't know, I think it was a bit much for me, and I get that's the point, but I think if they played a bit straight, I would have enjoyed it a lot more, to be honest.
I think it was sort of the way around. I was sort of, while I appreciate Vikander and Fassbender's chemistry in their relationship, because they are both terrific.
Yeah.
that was kind of the bit that was getting it set in. I get that bit. When the proper story beats started coming forward, that's when I kind of. So I guess I'm total opposite to you. The stronger part for me, but not even a stronger part. The part I enjoyed more was the second half.
Yeah.
While I agree that the whole thing is it really plays up on the emotional stuff. I think it kind of had to. I think it's quite rare that you have a film that is this unafraid to really play on the emotion. I mean, it didn't make us cry. That's normally a good gauge if a film is successfully emotional. If it makes me cry, it's probably done a good job. This one didn't, but I commend it for its efforts because it is very melodramatic and it's not afraid of that. I think it's probably quite a nostalgic sense of melodrama. The cinematography particularly sort of real Mr. Turner sort of look to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Those really beautiful landscapes and, like you say, the shots of the lighthouse really good. And Rachel Weisz, I mean, such a short role really. She's not really introduced into the film until sort of late in the second act. And it's a really good supporting role, and it has a lot of moral complexity about it. You sort of do wonder, what would I do in this situation? I mean, I wouldn't take the kid in the first place. I hate children, if you hadn't already guessed.
The Liam between oceans, or there's a baby washed up on shore.
If a baby washed up on,
he just goes back inside.
If a baby washed up on my island, I would call child services, and it would have a nice happy home with its mother. I would not even consider making it my own little Ben, not at all.
But you're not married to Alicia Vikander, to be fair.
Maybe a different story.
I think she'd probably convince you.
Yeah, she probably would.
But yeah, I think it's an important distinction to make for me, to be honest. I did enjoy the story as it was going on, and I did think it wrapped up very nicely, and I think that I did enjoy it for what it was worth. But I think it was just the fact that it did try to gut punch you so much that it didn't. You just didn't let time to build, like I was saying. But I did enjoy the story as it was going on. I really loved the duality between, and obviously it's heartbreaking when what develops with the child, and obviously the relationship between her and Rachel Weisz, and just the whole thing going on around there, and Fassbender in the middle. I'd watch that show, but the melodrama did get a bit much at times. Like, that was my
one final thing as well. Soundtrack is fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's terrific. Yeah.
I will probably it's going to be in consideration for the end of the year when we do our awards. Probably on the podcast this year. Last year was a bit boring. Yes, it's got that piano soundtrack, but every so often you'll have an off-key note. It'll be going like ding ding, and then you hear the bomb. In with the same bit of piece, in with the melody, and it really unsettles, and that's kind of perfect for what the film tries to do. It does have that unsettling edge when it goes slightly off. I like that very much. On the whole, I will recommend it, but with reservations. Yeah, I guess you're kind of the same.
Yeah, I think it's a decent period piece. I think it's I think for what it is worth, the performances are fantastic, great three-hander, But I think, to be honest, it just tries to knife you too much for my 2 penny. That was a really bad thing.
It was a weird one.
Yeah, it was weird. But that's all I can imagine, just because it tries to rib you so much. It's like, are you feeling it yet? Are you fighting the tears back yet? It's like, and
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
That's The Light Between Oceans, and it's in cinemas now. You can catch it at the Empire in Sunderland and at the Tyneside Cinema in